Hello viewers, happy new month. It's a great new month and I'm so excited that you're joining us once more. My name is Anne Morimi and I'm your host. I'd like to remind you that our show today is live on YouTube. It's also live on Facebook. The handle is GBS Kenya. Kindly subscribe so that you can be able to watch this show live and you can also watch our previous shows. We still have our SMS line. The number is 21144. So welcome and enjoy the show. With me in studio, I have a very beautiful, lovely lady, and I'll be telling you more what the title of the show is, but I'd like her to introduce herself first. So welcome.
Thank you so much, Anne, for having me. My name is Nyambura Marira, founding partner of Marira Beauty and the current existing artist. That means doing all the work at Marira Beauty. We deal with semi-permanent makeup, specializing in eyebrows.
And you know what? Viewers, when you look at her, you can see how awesome she looks. She did her makeup. I don't know whether she did her, I don't think she did her brows, but she'll tell us all that later. And today the topic is turning hobbies into careers. We're going to be looking at what it is that we can do to have a career that is exciting, the way that Nyambura did. So welcome to the show and have a lovely time. Another thing is, this is a week for, this is International Women's Day week.
Yes.
So we're celebrating women who are out there helping other women improve and just doing industries that are more women related. Because I think March 8th is when we'll be celebrating it.
On Friday.
Yeah. All right. So welcome and enjoy the show. Hey, so it's good to have you. I must say, I'm happy to be talking to you today because I'm going to be able to look at your face. Your face is very well made.
Thank you.
Did you do it yourself this morning?
Yes, I did this
morning.
How much
time did it take? In a rush?
Yes.
It looked
20
awesome.
minutes.
So you can imagine if you took more time, would it look better or would it make you more tired?
Depends. I always have one makeup look.
Yeah.
The only thing that I change probably is my eyes. And today I was in a rush, trying to rush to the studio. So.
Thank you for coming in. You look fabulous.
Thank you.
So I'd like you to tell us a little bit about yourself so that the audience can be able to, the viewers can be able to understand just who you are, where you're coming from, which hobby it is that you had that you turned into a career and all that.
Right.
So we're going to go way back
to
your childhood. Tell us where you grew up. Are you the firstborn or second or third?
I come from a family of 4. I have 2 sisters and 1 brother.
Okay.
All of them are married, so I'm the last one, still not married.
Are you looking forward to getting married? Are you advertising yourself to anyone?
Well, I'm in the market. I'm in the market.
Yes, yes.
So I'm the last born, and growing up, I always had paying attention to detail. Artistic, using my hands, trying to make things. That was something I remember from way back, trying to do. I'd get things put together, make bookmarks.
So you've always had an artistic flair about yourself?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
Went to primary school, university, high school, university. I studied community development.
Before we get there, did you grow up in Nairobi, outside Nairobi?
I grew up in the countryside.
Outside Kenya?
No. I grew up in the countryside.
Oh,
Limuru,
really?
To be specific.
Very cold place.
The viewpoint. On your way to Nakuru, there's a viewpoint people always stop by to look at.
Very beautiful.
That's where I grew up.
So
very cold place.
Okay.
Yeah.
And did you move to Nairobi when you were in high school or
I
in
was
university?
already grown up. I was in high school, almost completing high school.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. So I came to Nairobi when I was already grown up.
Okay.
Yeah.
How was that for you? Did you like Nairobi or do you still have plans of moving back to Limuru?
I love Nairobi.
Okay.
I think I appreciate both because I think if I grew up in Nairobi, for me, I'd be a very different person right now.
Really?
Yeah.
Different better or different worse?
Different worse.
What does that say about the people who grew up in Nairobi? Whatever. Thank you.
For me.
Okay.
I think I'm a person who gets very excited discovering stuff. But one thing I appreciate about the countryside is the little things that I got to appreciate in terms of going to school, going with the kids, going to the farm.
Yeah, going to the farm.
My dad had chicken, like, I don't know, 5,000 of them.
Wow.
And so the work ethic of, he gave a house of chicken to each and every one of us to take care of.
Oh,
so you'd wake up in the morning, go feed your chicken.
Before you go to school?
Yes. Before
so
you
what time would you wake up?
And orange trees in the garden to go water them. So you had to wake up so early, go feed your chicken, water your orange trees, and then now prepare and go to school.
And would you be paid for this, or was this just something you're doing for the family?
No.
That's awesome.
It's a family business.
Yes, it's a family business. And you're exactly. You see, now the parents of nowadays, it's like we encourage our children to do stuff for pay. So it's like, make your bed, do your chores for pay. And I'm like, why should you pay? I am already housing you, feeding you, and you're not paying for that. Of course, I got you by choice, and I love you to bits. But hey, come on, do some work. So that was very good.
It's a work ethic till today I really appreciate.
Okay. And it probably helped you to be an early riser as well?
Yes.
Oh, fantastic.
Completely.
Okay, yeah, okay. I don't see you having 5,000 chicken anywhere in Nairobi. It would be impossible.
Yes.
So yeah, countryside was awesome.
Yes, it was awesome. Okay. We had cows, turkey, chicken.
Oh, you had turkey then?
Yes, we had turkey too.
Wow. Where would you sell it? Do you remember?
No, I don't remember.
Oh, yeah.
All I know is that for the chicken, my dad used to transport eggs into Nairobi to sell to...
Oh, he used to still work in Nairobi. That was quite a long commute. But maybe those days there was less traffic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, so you go to campus and did you study beauty by any chance?
Not in campus. I went to high school and then after that, I wanted to go to university. And by the time I wanted to go to university, I was telling my parents I want to do music.
Ah, okay. How did they take that?
No, in those days.
Not well.
That is a hobby. Who is earning money doing music?
Yes.
So after a lot of discussion, my parents advised that I do community development.
Okay.
At that point, working in the NGO world, it used to pay a lot.
Yeah,
and even nowadays.
And even now, it's actually an in thing because, I mean, there's a lot of community work that is done by locals and also by internationals.
True.
And they use NGOs, especially when the funding is coming from outside. And of course, they get to have all the 4x4s, Land Cruisers for going off-road and whatever. Yes, exactly. So it still is quite a good career.
Yeah. So my dad used to work in the NGO world. And also, of course, I used to admire his life. Yes. So this is a young person, not sure what I want to do. I was caught up actually between communication and community development. Okay. Because in high school, I used to do, drama festivals and stuff. So those two lines were something I couldn't decide on. Okay. But finally, let's go the money way.
I know.
Community development.
That's true. Let's talk a little bit about your music. At what point in your life did you figure out that you were into music enough for you to want to do music in university?
I'd say it was quite at an early age because when I was growing up, my dad always, I come from a Christian family, so we used to attend Sunday school, go to church events.
Yes.
So any chance my dad got to speak somewhere, I was this short girl and he'd say, my daughter has a presentation. And he'd pick me up, put me on the table, and he says, sing a song. So I'd sing. So from a very early age, I started singing. High school drama festivals, teachers would choose me to be a soloist in whatever presentations we had. So going to university, I was like, I want to do music. But anyway, I didn't end up doing it until after university.
Okay. Yeah. And it's so interesting. I think that when parents do that, they do it because, of course, they're very proud of you.
True.
But it also has the benefit of making you to be a very confident person.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I know that you do sing still a lot, in weddings.
Yes.
And very beautifully.
Yes, thank you.
So at least the music in you somehow got nurtured a little bit later.
True.
So you did community development, finished, and maybe did you get a job or an internship?
I worked for a company that used to deal with women in terms of law and cases of women abuse. That I did for my internship. After that, I was like, nah, this is not my thing.
Did you
so I
like
went to my parents, I was like, here's a certificate, I graduated.
Did you actually do that? People talk about that, but do they actually do it?
Well, they don't really, it's not like I literally went to them and like, here you go.
Yeah, I'm done.
But it was like, you know what, this is not the thing I was out for from the very beginning. And after that, I told them I wanted to do music. And they were very supportive, my mom and dad. I looked for schools, I did all the work for looking for schools. Visa, And finally, I got the chance to go to the United States. And my parents were very supportive. They paid for me, and I went and studied. I was there for 3 years.
Ah, okay. So you actually went to, did you do it at master's level or?
No, it was
music?
a post, like a diploma course.
Ah,
That
fantastic.
took 2 years.
Well, that was good. I'm so happy when parents allow their children to follow their dreams.
True.
Because you know when until you get that perfect fit, you're never quite comfortable enough, and you're always jittery.
Yes.
So I mean, you might as well. Okay, it's also good to obey on the other hand, which you
Yeah,
did.
yeah.
But even after you did that, you didn't feel comfortable in the NGO world.
True.
All right. So back to your hobby, which is music. So you went to the US for 3 years.
Yes.
Did you work there?
I worked for a music company, and we used to book people for certain events, and I worked for about a year. I had like 2 jobs being in the States.
Okay.
So I had that one for music and extra jobs. I worked for a year, and then I came back, and when I came back, I'd say I started recording. I went into the studio. I started recording, but it was not picking up at the pace that I would have loved it to pick. So I did it for a while. I think I was here for a year.
Okay. Which, do you have some songs that you released?
Yes.
So that people can go to YouTube and search for you?
Search for Nyambura Maria. Most of the songs that I've recorded by myself are on audio, and I haven't put them out there.
Oh, you don't put them out yet?
But I've done, I think, 2 collabos that are on YouTube in Kikuyu.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
You know Kikuyu?
Yes.
Oh, no, growing up in the countryside. That was a plus also, of course, because I'm sure everybody used to talk Kikuyu then.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of
Oh,
course.
nice.
But I must say, that's another thing that people tend to encounter within life. I must say it's very discouraging being so out to do something and yet it doesn't pick up as you
wanted it.
I would say at some point in my life, I'd given up on music completely. I was like, no, it's not going the way I want to.
Was it an issue of the market not responding to the music that you're putting out, or was it an issue of impatience? Maybe if you had stayed it longer?
Impatience and putting such a high expectation on ourselves.
Yeah, okay.
And thinking that the crowd won't accept you as you are. You have this standard of what you want it to be. But you know what? There's a market for everybody.
There's a market for everybody. And when you put, it's amazing that there's so many types of music out there. True. Of course, there are those that top the charts.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it is that makes it. It's a combination of many things.
Yes.
But not everybody appreciates what tops the chart. So put your music out there. It's definitely people who are going to appreciate it.
Definitely.
So did you decide to forget about music for a while?
I took a step back.
Okay.
I took a step back. And all this time, since we were young, my dad loves us reading books and stuff and going into languages.
Okay.
The Chinese had started trickling into Africa in a major way.
I know, everywhere you look.
So my dad through the years kept telling me, have you thought about learning a language? Have you thought about Chinese? Have you thought about Chinese? And I was like, yeah.
Not my thing.
Not my thing. Or rather, I was like, that's a hard thing to get into.
I know, and you're learning a new language when you're already in your early 20s.
Yes.
Yeah.
They
say it's easier to learn a language when you're younger.
Yes.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I came back. The music thing didn't go too well. I mean, I'm not bringing money to the table with whatever I'm doing. I was like, you know what, let me try this Chinese thing.
Okay.
By then, there were very many scholarships being offered. And even when the Chinese were starting out to offer universities Chinese here, it was for free at the very beginning.
Okay. So you took advantage of that?
So the cost I had to pay was very little.
Okay.
So I enrolled into Nairobi University at the very beginning. I started learning Chinese. I was like, wow, this is interesting. Something completely different.
I know,
sounds
something totally unexpected.
Never heard of.
Yeah.
The writing is not the usual English.
Do they write from left to right like us?
It's from...
It's the opposite?
Yes.
I mean, how is that? When you've been
used
to... I know, the little sticks. And the alphabet, I mean, it's something completely different.
Something completely different.
Was it very difficult?
It was, but I mean, once you set your mind to learning, it becomes easy. And then, we had Chinese teachers. So the only challenge was learning here, you only do it in class.
Oh yeah, because when you step out, there's hardly anybody you can be able to communicate with.
Hardly anybody.
Yeah.
So I did that for a while, and After a while, they always had these scholarships where they had a competition
Okay.
of taking people to China on free scholarships. During the competition, use your talents, do whatever.
Okay.
Here comes Nyambura singing.
Yeah, of course.
So I learned a Chinese song and I participated in the competition and I ended up winning.
Good for you, girl.
I ended up winning. And
Was it a Kenyan thing? Like, were you competing people from Kenya only?
Yeah, against students.
The students who were in
Chinese.
Okay, so you won. Wow,
so I won and I ended up going to China.
On
I
a
won
scholarship. A fully
paid
sponsored
for
scholarship.
Wow. And that was a year.
You've been lucky, girl.
I had 2 scholarships to China.
I know.
Full scholarship. So that was the first one. And I went based on my singing. I was like, oh, the singing after all.
After all, it paid. I mean, actually, it paid off, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So I went, I studied, I got my certification, came back.
How long were you away in China for? How many years?
The first time was 1 year.
Okay.
And then I came back. After I came back, I started, I enrolled in Kenyatta University. Same thing, Chinese.
Okay.
Just continuation, because a year is short
to
learn.
To learn everything. Okay.
However, what I learned in a year there compared to what I'd learned here, totally different when you're in an environment where the language is being spoken.
Exactly. There's a lot of, especially when you combine it with the culture, you get, it's more in-depth.
Yes.
And it's like being thrown in the deep end.
Yes.
Because here you are talking basic Chinese and then you're talking to somebody who knows Chinese all their lives. So you really have to catch up quick.
Yes. So, I mean, it was hard at first trying to go into the market. You just have to use your hands or sight. But finally, I learned, came back, enrolled in Kenyatta University.
To continue doing the language?
Yes.
Okay.
Another chance came and they were like, we have master's scholarships to give. Are you interested? I was like, master's in what? Teaching Chinese. I was like,
no, a new profession. I mean, you've been through community development. We've been through music. Music is still giving in a way.
True.
Now here is a new one, teaching.
And you want me, I mean, to be a teacher. I was like, for the language, I just want to learn it and probably use it in interpretation, tourism, you know, translation, but not
not teaching, being in a classroom environment.
Not being in a classroom environment. But they were like, either way, I got some advice. Either way, these are the only scholarships we have, and either way, you're still learning the language.
Yeah.
So just take it and see how it goes.
Okay.
So I went to China.
For the second time, again on a scholarship?
Again on a fully paid for scholarship. So that happened, and it was a tough journey.
Did you go to the same part of China that you were in before?
I went to a totally different
city.
And
was it, the first time, which city were you in?
It was called Tianjin.
Tianjin?
Yes.
And the second time?
Shandong.
Shandong.
Okay.
I only know Beijing and...
well, Shandong is like 2 hours
Guangzhou.
away. Yes. Shandong is about 2 hours away from Beijing by train.
Okay.
So it was a three-year master's.
Oh, wow. That was much longer.
It was tough.
Yeah.
It was tough.
Did you miss home a lot?
I really missed home, but I tried to come I'm not a person who's into cold much. Winter.
Okay. Every winter you...
So winter holidays, I always tried to
be back home.
Come back. So it was really hard, and you know, master's level to be a teacher, the knowledge level
it's really high, you know.
It's a notch higher than basically just learning your everyday language of going to the market and everything.
To just be able to move around and be able to at least not get too lost, because a lot of Chinese do not know English.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's the only language they know. So
definitely. Okay. So that happened, and it was really tough, and just writing a thesis in Chinese.
I mean,
what?
Can you imagine at master's level?
What?
Wow. But you did it.
I didn't get to writing the thesis, and I'll tell you my story.
Yes.
So throughout that, there was a lot of challenges that came in between. Just the difficulty in learning the language and the complexity of now being a notch that's very high.
Yes.
And health challenges. I was hit by a health challenge when I was pursuing my master's. So just doing those two, trying to deal with my health, trying to do my thesis. I don't want to be a teacher.
Exactly. It's not exactly the thing you're feeling comfortable with.
Yes.
Okay, but you're already on board, you know.
It really affected me at some point, honestly, I thought I'd fall into depression.
I can imagine, yeah.
And I used to call my mom and I'm like, Mom, I don't like this. And every time I'd come for holidays and she'd notice that I'm discouraged, she told me, you never know I got took you to China.
Yeah,
It may not be for the masters, but you have to, something may come out of it.
Yes.
Oh, I don't know why I'm tearing up.
It's emotional for you.
Yeah.
Because you're looking back and you're remembering that period, how it was. And maybe now you're able to actually, you know, hindsight is very clear sometimes.
Yeah.
They say it's 20/20 vision.
Yes.
And maybe now you're thinking about how hard it was, but grateful that you had people to support you through the process.
Yes.
And something good, which you're about to tell us, of course, came out of it.
Yes.
And you're like, thank God I hung in there.
Yes.
Yeah?
True.
Okay.
So, I mean, I had people around me once I was hit by the hitch of my health. The students who I was with, they really supported me. My school really loved me. The teacher supported me because every time there was a school function, call Nyambura, she'll sing, she'll perform beautifully.
And you see, so you're still doing your music all along with you.
I
You've
did
carried
it
along with you
a lot
throughout.
there. I did it a lot in school events.
Yeah.
So finally, towards the end of writing my thesis, my health just went on a downhill.
Okay.
Completely. And to me, I was like, I can't do it.
Yeah, it was too much.
It was too much. So I was there wondering, what am I going back home to do? I clearly cannot finish my thesis. The school had already suggested that I take a year out with my health. I cannot
like
finish
a break?
my thesis.
Okay.
Just go back home and come back probably after a year.
Okay.
So right before my health hitch, we had so much time on our hands.
Okay.
Our classes used to end at noon.
Yes. So you had the whole afternoon, basically.
I had the whole afternoon. So I think for the first few months, afternoon, I just used to, you know, rest, cook, or do assignments.
Yeah. Did you eat everything and anything?
I preferred preparing my own food.
I can imagine. Because
I'm not one to try out foods much.
I know. And you know, the Chinese, when it comes to food, they eat everything. I mean, okay, tell me, what is it that they do not eat?
Because everything they don't eat?
I don't think so, because anything that I can think of, rats, you know, if you eat rats, what is it that you can't eat?
But also most of the foods that are probably weird to us, they're not eaten everywhere in China. You'll have certain regions that, you know, are known to eat this.
Okay.
But the most challenging times for me were when I was invited to a Chinese home or a Chinese invites you to a restaurant.
Oh my gosh, and maybe especially at home, they have gone out of their way to prepare for you.
Yes.
And then
there's a time I went to somebody's home and they brought, to me, they were insects.
Were they crawling or not? I hope they were dead.
Fried?
Oh, wow.
Of course they are dead. So you're supposed to take these chopsticks and pick on these insects.
Yeah. What?
I was just like, oh my God, I cannot.
That's the point you say you're vegan
and
you're plant-based.
They've really gone out of their way.
They have, because you're a special guest from Kenya,
Let
Africa.
me tell you, Lord forgive me, that's where my religion came in.
Oh yeah, of course, anything.
I cannot eat this, I'm sorry. And of course they understand.
Yes.
But in terms of hosting, there are good people. There are so many things I picked about the Chinese culture that I brought back home that I admire till today.
Okay.
Things to do with family, how they value friendships, how grandparents relate with their grandkids.
Okay.
It's something very admirable.
Oh, that's nice. They're big on family, yeah?
Yes, very big on family.
Okay.
So finally, back to my free time.
I know, yeah, you were busy up to noon, okay?
A lot of free time, so I was like, maybe I can get something extracurricular to do. So I looked for a makeup school.
Okay. What is it that led you to think of a makeup school? Is it something you loved to do? Was it a hobby of yours?
I love anything beauty, fashion, doing my makeup. So I was like, you know what, maybe weekends when I go back to Kenya and I'm teaching from Monday to Friday, Chinese.
You're still trying to accept the teaching career. I have studied for it. I can do it.
Yes, I can do this. I'll be in class from 8 to 5 every day.
Yes.
For how many years repeating the same thing?
I know.
But on weekends, I can go do makeup. There are weddings, there are people who love makeup. And even for myself, I can learn something out of it.
Okay.
So I enrolled in a school that was just close to where I was staying.
Okay.
And this guy was teaching makeup, and I learned makeup, I think for a year or so, on and off. And at some point, he started offering semi-permanent eyebrow makeup technique. So I'd see the Chinese come in as, you know, I'm doing my makeup lessons, and they'd walk in with these canty eyebrows. They'd walk into his, you know, little studio. And when they come out, they have these gorgeous eyebrows. And he's like, this doesn't come off, but it's not a tattoo. It will fade with time. It's a service that's really trending right now in China.
Which year was this, by the way, roughly?
That was 2015.
Ah, okay.
2015. I was like, I haven't seen this much in Kenya.
Yes.
I had actually not even seen it.
Yeah, okay.
I was used to, I knew there were tattoos, people were doing eyebrow tattoos.
Tattoos had been there for quite a while.
Yes. But I had not seen this.
There was also another thing, which I don't know what we're going to call it. It's the thing where you go and cut off everything, and then you draw with a line. What is that?
Oh, wow. I think it was just, is it using pencil?
Using pencil.
You know that was a trend.
I know.
That I had.
Oh, hang on. Was it an international trend or a Kenyan trend only?
I think it was everywhere.
Oh my God. Honestly, I just did not get that.
Let me tell you, when I go back to my pictures, I found a photo of me with this one line eyebrows. Like, what?
So you used to be into this eyebrows thing from when you were a child.
Yes.
So you basically cut off everything with a razor probably, and then you just drew a line.
You just leave one thin line.
Yeah. Oh my God. Really? Anyway.
So I told my teacher, whatever you do, just make sure I learn this thing before I go back home.
Yeah.
I begged him. I was like, I don't care what you do.
Yes.
How much money you want, I'll pay, but just make sure I learn it.
Okay.
So he was very patient, and being an African, I was the only African in his class. He had never taught an African. So for him, it was also very exciting.
Yeah, to just have a Kenyan teaching a Kenyan.
Yes, he has this international look of his school. When people come in, you know, he has people from all over.
I'm sure you put your photos there, like my student from Africa.
People used to come here and used to say, oh, this is my student, she's from Kenya, she's very good. So he saw my passion, and he really went out of his way to teach me.
Okay.
Now the challenge was, with learning Chinese and your everyday language, that's not like professional language. I mean, I'm good going to the streets, buying stuff, going to the supermarket, but now I'm in a beauty school. The semantics. The jargon completely changes.
Wow.
So in classes,
the language is that complicated. It's not like, you know, when you learn English here, it's English that you can be able to use at whatever level.
I don't think so, because if I take you to a courtroom,
okay, maybe there's that jargon for law that you don't understand. Okay. So you're talking about jargon that's very related to beauty.
Same thing to a beauty class.
So there was still a bit of a language
Oh, I can tell you half the things were just...
You know, just passing you, so miscommunication.
What I used to look forward to was the practicals.
Yeah, of course.
Because then I can see him do it.
Yes.
And whatever I can pick up, I was picking up.
Okay.
But anyway, I learned it. He was very excited of how I learned it. I bought the kits and everything, and I packed them. But mind you, all this time, I haven't told anybody.
At home, yeah, because they're still thinking you're studying to be a teacher.
Yes.
They sent you there to be a teacher. Here you are. You've discovered how you can enhance your hobby.
Yeah, so I didn't tell anybody.
Were you afraid to tell them? Or
I think so, because I was like, I did community development. I did music. Now I'm doing a master's in Chinese. And
before I'm done, I'm like, I've been through 4 careers, you know.
They call me the most confused child. They would turn my name from last one to confused.
I know, I can imagine.
So
you kept it your little secret for a while?
My little secret up until I got back.
Okay.
So my health didn't go well. So I went up until right before the thesis. I didn't write the thesis.
Yeah, you couldn't.
However, the school was kind enough to give me papers saying that I had learned through the whole period and whatever courses I'd taken. Yeah. But I didn't get certification of, here's a master's degree.
Okay.
So I came back home, but with whatever I had learned, it was still very easy to get a teaching job in Kenya.
Because you're still at a very high level of Chinese language.
Yes, and I mean, there are not that many teachers.
There were still very few then, and even now,
Here. And in between doing my degree, I was coming for internships here.
Okay.
And students loved me. I was good in class. I love passing on the knowledge. It's just that for me...
And you probably made learning fun.
Yes. But for me, looking at it from Monday to Friday for several years, it was just not...
The 8 to 5 thing was not working for you.
It was not working for me.
Guess what? We need to take a break. So we'll be right back. Viewers, keep it here and see you soon, shortly after the break.
People have dominance over themselves. Why? Daddy, no money. Give me money, I'll buy for you. Hey, Daddy, I say I don't have money. Hey, I know, Daddy.
Can the Ethiopian change his skin? Or the leopard its spots?
예수님이 우리의 모든 죄값을 다 지불하시기 때문에 예수님 다 이루었다라고 말씀하셨잖아요.
So Jesus paid for all the wages of our sin. That's why he could say it is finished.
Yesu alipa mshahara wa dhambi ya deni zetu lote, ndiposa akasema kwamba imekwisha.
하나님은 슈퍼컴퓨터와 같은 분이에요.
Everyone, God is like the supercomputer.
Upendo wa Mungu ni kama hii supercomputer.
And this is G Radio.
Hello guys and welcome. This is G Radio #1 TV show and we're coming live at GBS TV and I'm your host Isaac Tabitha.
I'm the co-host Evan Tinyari. As usual we have our DJ Deco. You can also send your views on my Instagram page and Tinyari_Eva.
And also you can get me on our Facebook page as Isaac Tabitha. Thank you so much guys.
Keep it here.
Kwa mara ya kwanza runinga ya GBS TV inakuletea Echo Mziki. Ni show itakayokuwa inatambulisha vipaji vya ma-DJ, wasanii wenye uwezo mkubwa na madancers wenye kunyangua. Ungana nami @Trouble Nyakoko pamoja na mkali wao DJ Vocus siku ya Ijumaa mida ya saa 12 hadi saa 1 jioni, na Jumamosi mida ya saa 9 hadi saa 10 ya mchana, na Jumapili mida ya saa 9 kwenye Echo Mziki live audience. Echo Mziki, hapa mziki tu.
Healing, hope, restoration. Amazing stories of real people like you who have triumphed over tragedy. Watch Turning Point International and be inspired to reach your turning point.
It really ministers to the soul of man, and as a pastor you benefit a lot because people learn and they learn how to cope with issues probably you don't even deal with in your sermons.
It's not reality TV, it's real life TV.
Hello viewers, welcome to Women's View.
What you see is what you get.
Very exciting and fun.
We grew up in a certain community and we were told this is how women are.
Everybody was coming with what they can get.
This is not a joke. You signed up for life.
Very interesting.
A woman is this.
You want somebody else to do something for you that you can do for yourself.
You know what, you're doing a great job. You keep doing it.
You are going to school to become a musician. Like, seriously?
Okay, hit.
The show airs every weekday from 11 a.m. to noon and is repeated every evening from 7 to 8 p.m. I look forward to seeing you there.
Everywhere, GBS.
Welcome back to the show, viewers. Thank you once again for joining us. Today we're talking about how to turn hobbies into careers. And Nyambura is the founder of Marira Beauty. And you know, it's so interesting to hear her story because she studied community development, that's her first degree. Then she studied music, postgraduate level. Then she started teaching Chinese. And up to all, despite having gone through all these three careers, she still was not completely comfortable until she got into beauty, which was a hobby. Yes. So you know what, Nyambura, I'm thinking, a lot of times people think that the thing they study in uni, it's got to be what they eventually do.
Right.
But that's not the case.
True, true.
And what I like about you is that despite the fact that you've studied so many things, each of the things you've studied has actually helped you in one way or the other to take your next step.
True.
Like your music opened up doors for you to travel.
Yes, yes.
And then your community development, you really give a lot of advice to people who want to travel to China,
Yes,
who are
yes.
doing research.
Yes.
So in a way, you're still influencing the community. And you didn't like teaching. You did it for a very short time.
yes.
Anyway, so you came back home. When you came back, is that the point that you were able to disclose to your family that you had actually done makeup?
Yes, when I came back home, that's when I told, I came back home and my folks are like, look for a job in teaching, look for a job in teaching. And I started dilly-dallying. I mean, I'd go to school or I'd write to school or ask my friends, have you heard of any teaching jobs? But I knew for sure it won't last.
Yeah, that was not going to be you.
It won't last. And I had done teaching for a while.
Okay.
Coming back during my internships in KU, in Mahanaim College.
Yes.
So that worked pretty well. So when I got back, my folks were like, you need to look for a job, you need to look for a job. I was like, yeah, I'm looking for a job, but there's this thing that I want to start. So my mom was like, what is that you want to start?
I know, they're like, okay, career number 5 coming up.
I was like, it's something to do with beauty, it's something to do with eyebrows. So I tried to explain it to my mom.
After they couldn't get it.
To her, it was just like, tattoo.
Yes.
I'm like, no, Mom, it's just something I studied. When did you study?
I know, you didn't even say.
I'm like, I studied before I came, I enrolled in a school. They're like, what?
Really?
So me, I was so psyched up at this thing I want to start. I told my mom, I'm moving out. I want to even look for a place where I'll set up the business. She's like, whoa, hold up.
Chief, girl, come slowly.
Calm down.
Breathe in.
Yes.
Okay.
She was like, okay, if it's something you want to say. It was her way of being supportive and just not to tell me, this is
not killing the dream entirely.
Not killing the dream.
Okay. Thank God you didn't.
So she told me, you know what, this is my advice. Our house is very well structured. And I think I'd been away for so long. From the first time I went to the States to me coming back from China was a period, I think, of 10 years or so. So I'd never been home as such.
For long.
And I'm coming back and I'm telling them I want to move out. She's like,
you've not even lived with us, girl,
Our last born. Our confused last born. No, she's like, don't move out.
Stay here with us for a while.
With us. And you know what? The house is so well structured. Once you enter the entrance, there's a room right there that was like a study room. She was like, you know what? Convert that room into what you want. Your little, what did you say?
I know. Remind me again.
Yes.
What? My what?
Convert it into what you want to do and at least see whether it will pick up. Because now if you go picking up bills there, rent for the business, you don't even know whether you get clients.
Okay.
So now she bought actually my first bed for clients. And it was a second-hand one. Mom, I'll pay you back, by the way.
Big shout out to her for the support all these years,
So she got this, let me tell you, even before she got the bed, I started with a normal bed.
Okay.
Like
which is really low.
Which is really low.
Yeah, and this is the thing. Where you're starting never matters. So long as you have this goal, this plan in your head, this dream that you envisioned already, it's going to come. So where you start is not going to be the final,
Yes, so...
would your back hurt because of the bending?
Of course,
I know. Okay.
So I got a bed at first, and my sister was my first client. Shout out to my sister.
Yeah.
My sister is one of those, anything that I'm trying out, she'll always be the guinea pig.
Okay.
So she was my first client. Looking at it now and the work, how I've come, I didn't do a very good job on her.
Really? And you've said that on live TV. Come on, Carol, wherever you are, please ask for a refund.
There is growth. I just want to show you how far I've come.
Okay.
So she was my first client, and I think I posted her picture on my social media for like, you post today, tomorrow you post like words.
By the way, please tell us your social media handle, because viewers go to that page and, this girl is so humorous. Like, you're going to laugh your head off about the things that she posts. What is the page? Remind me.
My personal one is Nyambura Marira. For the business is Marira Beauty.
Okay.
Everywhere. Instagram, what's the other one? Facebook.
You don't even remember. Like, that old. Okay, Instagram people. People have moved from Facebook. Okay.
That's where you'll find me. So we started with the bed, and that worked, although I used to really get tired because of my back.
Yes.
Then my mom bought for me the second-hand massage bed from a salon that had stopped using it.
Ah, okay. And they're not very easy to come across, by the way, so.
What?
Massage beds.
That one
also they can be made.
Ilikuwa ya jua kali.
Okay.
Actually, when we had it, because when I brought it, I wanted it painted. The guy I gave to paint, when he brought it back, he told me, Nyambura, this thing is so rusted, it might drop your clients.
Wow.
So just use it for a short while.
Okay.
I'm like, me, I don't have money. We're
going to use it. We're going to wing it. We're going to buy another one,
yes,
but not now.
But not now. So I used it for a year.
Yes.
And I want to thank God for all the people who supported me. There's people who came to just see.
How did you advertise?
I just opened a Facebook page and an Instagram page. When I was in China, I used to do a lot of shipping hair, handbags. So it had
everything
a few,
to do with fashion.
Yes, it had a few followers.
Okay.
And then now I turned it to this eyebrow thing.
Yes.
So people used to support me, come see my business. My bishop's wife came, she prayed over the business, which when I still had the low bed, which I really thank God for.
Yes.
So it started picking up with my sister's pictures. And
So
my teacher in China had also done my brows.
Oh, yes.
So I had something to show people, this is what it's like.
This is what we're talking about, because I'm sure people would really ask. Tell us what it is also.
So semi-permanent eyebrow makeup is a procedure where you insert pigment. Pigment is like ink.
Like ink or color.
Pigment onto the upper layers of the skin.
That's the epidermis?
Yes.
Okay.
So that you just create an illusion as if you have full brows. Or camouflage any missing out hair. Because most people, it's rare you'll find somebody with a full brow of hair.
I know. We talked about that other procedure of cutting all the time and tweezing. And you know what I realized? They grow back, but after a while of continuously doing it, no matter what you try, there's so many tips. Apply, what oils should you apply?
Coconut oil.
They still don't grow.
Over plucking.
Yes, because
of the trends that were there then. The thin
they
line.
were a bit rough.
So people ended up over plucking and it doesn't grow back. So that's what it is. So you create an illusion. It's like I said, it's not like a tattoo because it doesn't go as deep.
Okay. It's not it's semi-permanent.
Yeah, it's semi-permanent.
So lasts how many years?
1 to 3 years,
okay,
depending on what technique you go for. There's 2 techniques that I personally offer. One is microblading, where you create lines that mimic hair strokes.
Okay.
So you look like you have
I'm getting the idea.
hairs.
Yeah.
The next one is a complete makeup look like what I have, which is a powdery effect. So you can...
Did you do anything today when you... Like, do you have to still paint a little...
I didn't have to. Normally on a normal day, I don't.
Okay.
But when I go out, like makeup, because when I do makeup, I do my foundation first.
Yes.
So I do it all over my brows and they look faint. I don't want them to take a wet wipe and wipe. So I just take pencil.
And just color.
The shape is still there and I just color on top. Takes like a minute.
I can imagine. Because the shape is already there.
The shape is there, everything is there.
Okay.
So where were we?
So yeah, you're talking about your growth. So you used that bed for a year.
Yes.
You were advertising on Instagram and on Facebook, and you started getting clients.
As I get
somehow.
My first client,
using
I was
your
shaking
photos.
like, I don't know.
You know, yeah.
I'd call my family, guys, pray for me. But my first client didn't know that she was the first one. I was advertising as if I'd been at it for a while.
ages.
Yes.
Yeah, confidence, girl.
I was shaking, but she came, we did the job, and after that, you know, I have pictures to show.
Yeah.
So it picked up, and till today, I'm amazed at the growth.
Yeah.
Like now, when I look at my bookings,
I know, it's
from
amazing.
the humble beginning, and the people who have believed in me, in my work, I just stand it.
And it's been how many years? Not too many?
Now it's 2 years. 2016 is when I started.
Yeah, and
so
you know,
this is the 3rd year.
It's so interesting. I must say this. To get this girl here, I had to call her in January, and she looked through her calendar, and she's like, the earliest I can come is March. I'm like, what an awesome business, right? And so there was no way it was not going to happen today.
Yes.
Oh, that's great.
I thank God. I really
and also, one thing I like about you, because I have been following you and your work, especially on social media, is that I think 1 or 2 times you've actually gone for retraining.
Yes,
Tell us about that.
I make it a purpose every year that I'll go outside for training.
Okay.
So far, I've only been going to the US. Maybe I'll start
When you
exploring
go,
other
tell us
areas.
about what new stuff you learned when you went.
Because beauty trends change.
They keep changing.
They
that's
keep
true,
changing,
yeah.
so you have to be on top of your game. So every time if there's a new technique, I'll go out there, I'll learn it. When I started, I was not doing the makeup powdery look. I was
okay.
just doing the microblading.
Okay.
So a year down the line after I worked, I was like, let me go out, let me learn. Which again, to my parents was ridiculous.
I know. I'm
Because
leaving
of the amount
Kenya.
of money that was involved.
Okay.
They were like, what?
Really?
You can go to South Africa? Somewhere here around?
Close by.
Close by.
Because you went to the US. Which
Yes,
state did you go to?
I went to, the first time I went to 3 states actually.
Wow.
I went to California.
Hollywood.
Yes. What other state did I go to? I went to Ohio. What other state did I go to? And I went to West Salt Lake. It's a city. I can't remember what
It's okay.
state it
No
is.
worries.
So I did these 3 trainings and I added services. I went and trained for lashes. I trained for nails.
So the lashes that you do, are they they're not permanent?
No.
No.
They are just lash extensions that you fix. You'll probably be with them over like 3 weeks.
Oh, okay.
And then you come for a refill.
Okay.
However, I did that, but the eyebrow line of my business grew so much such that I put a pause on the lashes and nails. I said, let me grow the eye. It's always good to perfect one
and to
thing.
specialize, exactly.
And specialize.
Yes.
Once it's where you want to get it to. And then now I said, you know, I could go back to the rest.
Oh, excellent. Yes. And the second time you went again to the US?
That time I went to California. I looked for another trainer, got money, and I trained in the powdery effect. And they teach you on different shapes, skin types, color theory.
Okay.
And this year, hopefully, I'll still go back.
Again,
yes.
The people better be ready for you. Same country, the US. I mean, same.
The US, yes. This time I'll go to the US.
Because I think they're the most advanced when it comes to beauty. Oh no, what about?
I think it's huge. Well, there's also the UK and there's also Australia, but I like going to places where I am sure of getting training of people who've been working on black skin.
Exactly, yeah, because those are the majority of your clients here. So
those
you don't want to go to a place, let's say in Asia, and then what you're going to learn, the type of skin is so different, and then you come and it may not work very well here. Okay, and now that you've had such a long journey to get here, has it been worth it?
Oh, worth it, 100%.
Yes.
All the investments I've done, my first training to go out, I took out a loan. I can tell you that.
You've actually had to put your money when
I took out a loan. I saved, went to a circle. I saved. I took out a big loan, and that's why my folks were like, "This loan to go for training."
Like, really, girl?
Yes, and it was all worth it. I came back, made the money back. I just completed paying the loan. Was it last year?
Oh, fantastic.
No, last year but one.
I know, like a long
time ago. This time
ago.
that I went, the business has been able, it takes me...
You didn't need a loan for the second training.
I didn't need a loan, and I really thank God. And when I was coming back from China, even with my health issue, I prayed to God. I told him, when I go back home, please. Because my folks had supported me through my health.
For a long time.
I just prayed and told God, please, when I go back home, let this work, give me something that I can be able to support myself, and even if I have any health issues, I don't have to borrow money. And God has been so faithful.
Wow.
So faithful.
And how is it? Do you look forward to waking up in the morning? Because do you find your work fun?
It is fun because as much as I've done it for different people, every client that walks in is a new canvas.
Exactly.
Different skin type, different skin
I like
tone.
that. You look at them as a work of art, a new canvas.
It's
like a new person.
It's not even a person. To me, it's like clients will get surprised because sometimes I'll walk in if it's such good skin, the way I'm admiring it. And they're like, you're weird. I'm like, I'm sorry. It's just that I know the results that your kind of skin will give.
Okay.
And it's so much fun. So I never say that there's no challenge. To me, every client that walks in is something totally new.
Yeah.
And you increase, the more you work, the more you increase your technique, the perfection of your technique.
Exactly.
Knowing to work on different skin types. Because you'll go for the training, yes, Anne.
Yes.
Training, you'll be taught, do this, do this, do this. Wait until that client comes and they have thick skin.
Yeah.
Another one
they have acne. Does acne pose a challenge?
yeah, for somebody who's like acne prone and it's all over, that's another challenge. For most people, I wouldn't take them because then, so different skin types, different conditions. It's a different ballgame with each client.
Each person.
Yes.
And what about the kinds of people? How many people? You must have met so many people by now.
Oh yes, I have met tons of clients, all classes.
Yes.
And what I appreciate, I am so meticulous in my work, so we do some bit of talking with my clients.
Yes.
So the things that I feed from my clients, apart from your skin or canvas, as I would call it,
your canvas,
I have learned so much from you.
Okay.
Even when I go through my pictures after a client, I'm just not placing their eyebrows. Like I know you as a person, the things that you shared with me, and it's beautiful.
How long does the process take in terms of time?
It takes 4 hours from when you walk in to when you walk out.
So it's a one-off. I mean, 4 hours is not long. You do it over. You do it
some people
one
do
time.
it in 2.5. I'm considered slow in the market.
But it's because you're meticulous and you're a perfectionist.
My time.
And you know what? These are eyebrows. You know, people. You don't want to come out and you look like you're surprised. You know, sometimes men say that you're talking to a lady and you can't tell whether it's your story or what because they have this surprised look 24/7 and you're wondering. Yeah.
Definitely.
Have you ever had? Okay, of course, because you're a perfectionist, this might be interesting for you. But have you ever done someone's eyebrows and not liked it, or they didn't like it?
Not really, because in school, for me, I like for a client to be sure of of going ahead with the procedure before they come.
Okay.
And I will give you all the info. If a client writes to us and they're like, you know, what services are you offering? I will send you this whole info that's like from here to...
You have a lot to
I'd
choose
rather
from.
over-inform you.
Yes.
Such that when you're coming in, you're sure. You've seen my pictures.
Yes.
I've not posted like online pictures.
That's you're authentic and legitimate. Everyone on your page is somebody you've actually worked on.
Yes. Okay. I want to show you my work. When you come in, I'll explain everything. Even for most clients, once I send them the info, they're always thankful. They're like, wow, this is very informative. I didn't know this. Thank you very much.
Excellent.
So for somebody to regret later, it's usually, I've never had it, because by the time we are going ahead, even with the shape, when you come in, we'll do your shape. I will ask you 10 times. Are you sure?
Are you sure? Is this what you want?
Is this what
Take photos, look at yourself.
Yes.
And when it comes to shape, is it just one shape? Because one of the things that I've had, there's a term for eyebrows that look more or less the same. What is the term?
What do you mean?
Like they're identical, sort of.
Symmetrical eyebrows?
Yeah, symmetrical. Like, naturally, are our eyebrows symmetrical or not?
No.
Naturally, they're not.
In my opinion, they're not.
So,
these brow bones are not exactly at the same point.
Okay.
For some people, you'll even find one eye is a little bit higher than the other.
Okay.
So for an artist, it's for you to find a balance.
Okay.
To work with that. And even sometimes a client will walk in and I'm like, one side of your hair is higher than the other.
You can immediately see that.
I can immediately see, and I have to find a balance. Okay. So I tell people, I mean, of course you want perfect eyebrows, but don't come expecting 200% perfection, because I mean, you're not bringing me a completely symmetrical face.
Actually, that's the thing that I wanted to come out, because our face is actually not symmetrical.
Yes.
Actually, like, you know, they're not perfect mirror images of each other.
Yes.
And so when you're working on the eyebrows, do you take that into consideration, or do you try and make them symmetrical, though they're not?
I try and make them, they're not, but I try to make them symmetrical.
Okay.
And coming to your point of you saying that nobody's completely symmetrical, it's not a mirror. And that's why stencils, people will buy stencils and do this side just draw on. They'll do this side and they're like, why don't they look
different?
Yeah, they look different.
Yeah.
And that's why people need to realize it's a matter of finding a balance.
Yes.
And the tricky part is some people, you'll tell them, okay, you'll draw their brows, they're relaxed. Once they get up, facial expressions
change.
They raise this eyebrow. And you're like, okay, they don't look the same.
Okay.
So as an artist, you always have to find a balance.
So you keep trying out, and of course, I'm sure you keep maybe drawing with something that's not permanent until you get the right look, and then now you do your procedure.
Yeah.
Is it painful?
It is painful, but you're numbed right before the procedure.
That's important.
Topical. It's just this eyebrow area.
And to be honest, most of the things that we do with our eyebrows tend to be painful. when it's waxing.
It's a sensitive
you know,
area.
it's a sensitive area, and even just the process of removal of hair is actually painful. So guess what? Time is actually up.
Okay.
Tell us a little bit, give us a parting shot, and especially encouraging women out there who have got hobbies, and maybe sometimes they're scared of taking that leap and pursuing their passion. Because when I look at you, when we talk about arches, you're so passionate about it. You know?
Yeah.
And I'm like, already we talked about the fact that there are no regrets, and you're so happy that it took a long journey to get here, but it was worth it. So give us a parting shot, and then we'll wrap.
What I'd like to say, there's people who have gone into studying and careers and they follow that and it works for them. But if you have found yourself to be like in between so many careers, or you studied so many things, for me, it's not a regret. For my life, that's the path I took, and finally, I decided on ending up in my hobby, which has really worked out well. And guess what? The rest of the things that I studied have not gone to waste. Somehow, they always come into play. Even my teaching in Chinese. I used to teach English in China.
Oh yeah, good for you.
So that pretty worked even for my line, and till today I still keep my Chinese contacts. It helps me even with getting products from China. So whatever you do, follow it. Whatever you have, start with it. Don't wait to earn this big money to start what you have. At whatever level you are, follow your passion. And the Bible says that your giftings will bring you something.
They'll place you before kings.
They'll place you before kings. So take your gift, work with whatever you have, and follow it. And at the end, it'll pay off.
And you know what? Looking at you giving your parting shot, you're giving it as a teacher in a way. You're almost about to say, please write notes, tip number 1, tip number 2. So there we are. Thank you so much for joining us. And remember, if you have a hobby that you are passionate about, it is possible to make that your daily grind. It won't even be a grind because you're already passionate about it and you love it. So thank you so much for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Bye.
Thank you.